driving safely. Holy jeez. I'm a little pissed off here. You know what? I'll just get it out there. I'm not going to be nice about this for once. For once, I'm not going to be nice about this. I don't even know where to start. Okay, so the church, Christians, they want to talk about commitment. They want to talk about relationships one way. Then you got people talking about relationships the other way. Those outside. BDSM is one of them. One that I know of that I've spent years looking into. And you know what? It's interesting to talk about the way people go about having relationships. Marriage just happens to be one of the more protected routes where you can have kids. BDSM, it's more about senses, sexuality, Fucking, as in the style, the type. 50 Shades of Grey, as unsanitary, as unhealthy as that is a great, check this out, boom. You've got 550 million, I don't know how many million, but when that movie hit theaters and that whole entire trilogy, women were paying attention. Holy jeez. So you got relationships like that. So marriage, BDSM. Think of anything else out there? You got the side relationships. The ones that don't focus on the play. You could call them whatever you want, but they do count. So, anyway. Not trying to get too personal here, but one of the women who I've talked to has a kid, and I just made a connection here that just kind of blew my mind. I'm going to try to put this into words here while driving. This just bothers me. Part of the problem there is that they withdraw. Everyone withdraws because the important parts are the ones that you want to protect. And then when women get to that point where there's kids involved, they don't even care about themselves anymore. And in many cases, they end up just like doing something that makes it worse. And yes, they're trying to keep the kid safe. I get that. But this woman who I'm talking to, she's got a kid, and I just kind of understand some of the things that are going down with this conversation. She contacted me out of the blue, and I don't remember her at all. I don't remember ever talking to her. She claims that we had talked before, and then she sent me 3 pictures of herself naked. And I'm just like, okay, hold up. I was not trying to have any of that, but at the same time, something hit me differently because of the way she started off talking to me. And I kind of understood a little bit more. And you know what? It doesn't matter if this is good or bad interaction. I don't have interaction with women these days. And that kind of kills it for me in that sense. Because I don't have anything there. The women at work ignore me. Some. The younger ones ignore me. The other ones are polite, and they sometimes keep it short. They'll just say, hey, there's at least one of the decent women out there I've actually had some good conversations with. You know, like, hey, how's it going? Whatever. But then taking it a step further, saying, this happened, what do you think? And actually having a conversation. Not getting too personal, obviously. You know, whatever you bring into the work environment stays in the work environment. We understand that. I think there's a couple of exceptions there, like bringing stuff into the gym, you can work through it. Because, hey, physical exercise, mental exercise, it can go together. Anyway, so this chick messages me out of the blue, and I realize a couple of things by the conversation that's happening. And you know what? She wants me to pay to hook up with her. And I was like, I'm going to condense it all, make this somewhat short so it's not another 20, 30, 40 minute long video. So I was like, hey, you open for discussion, you open to talking about this stuff. Because you know what? I actually want to see what could happen, and I have nothing to lose by just saying, got a few minutes, let's talk. Because you know what? I would actually like to have a decent relationship. Not looking for love, but I was looking for an opportunity to go talk to her. And again, making some connections, some points, and starting to understand some more things. And God knows, everyone else knows, the church does not talk about sexuality or relationships for those who are single, and including those who are divorced with a kid. They do not talk about this. They talk about relationships in the confine of marriage, and only marriage, except for parents. Marriage and parents, kids, parents, that sort of thing. That's it. Nothing else. They don't talk about anything else. I'm single. I'm 36, almost 37 here. And guess what? The interaction with women are just not there. So, throw me a bone. Give me something here. Holy jeez. So anyway, talk about having a very serious thing dropped in my lap. And this is on top of what happened in the past week. 2 threats, with one of them with graphic images thrown at me saying, this basically boils down to, give us your money or we're going to have people come after you, kill you. And I'm just like, let me process this. At the very end of it, I was just like, I'll be quiet, I won't say shit, I won't say anything. Block, take the phone numbers to the police, saying, hey, are these helpful? And then I just let it go. Anyway, that took me a minute, a whole week to process, because you don't throw graphic images of people shot, decapitated, bloodied, and expect someone to actually be okay with that. I went through this shit when I was deployed. That was years ago. Give me a couple minutes, give me a couple days, and I'll be fine. Or as fine as you can be. Because remember, people who are in the military, go overseas, who are trained for this, part of them are broken, so they can be able to respond and take orders, follow orders, and give orders to be proficient, because the mission comes first above everything else, with the exception of your men to your left and right. I say that because there are medics, there's other people out there, and part of their profession is those in the military. Anyway. Oh my word, this is killing me. So, to wrap this all up, sexuality, identity, these are some topics that the church do awful with. They do not talk about this at all, and they want to apply only scripture to this, or consequences. Hey, this will happen if you don't do this, or whatever. There are too many other people out there who are also hypocrites. They say the right thing, but they never do it. I care, I give a damn, I'm gonna try. It doesn't matter about failing. It doesn't matter if I fail, it doesn't matter if I succeed. The fact that matters is that I try. Then I talk about this stuff. And yes, I have a story with a married woman that happened to me. I mean, I think the only thing that ever happened was basically shaking hands and her running out the door because her kids called. And that blew my mind, because God took something and turned it on its head. And honestly, man, I talked to a couple of the people and they're just like, you fucked up. You did something wrong. This never should have happened. And yet everything that I know and everything that I understood, and I believe God was talking to me about that with that particular situation. I may go into it later with this married woman, but this was dropped on my lap. Anyway, there was actually closure with that too. A year later, I actually saw her and she was doing better. So I'm glad she got some counseling. And don't get me wrong, anyone who's in a relationship where there's no sex, and she claims her husband had not touched her sexually in somewhere between 4 and 6 years. I can't remember the specific time. And she broke down crying when she told me this. Anyway, she was doing better. This was back in 2015, I think, 2016, 2015, one of those years. I don't remember. This was years ago. Now, just yesterday, with this woman just dropping me off her text and those pictures, and I'm just like, holy jeez. And yes, she is gorgeous. Gorgeous on the outside. I don't know what her character and personality is like, But hey, at least she's talking. I got nothing to lose by saying, hey, let's talk. I don't know what else I should say. I don't want to talk about her personal life and that she's opened up so far, but you know what? There is something in there throughout all of this. I just know that when it comes down to relationships, the church, outside of parents and their kids and then marriage, they don't cover anything else. BDSM, they cover the feels, the excitement, the healthy and unhealthy parts. Both. They cover them both. I believe this is needed to a point. Why? Excitement and red flags. What are you interested in? What do you want to liven up your relationship? And then, here's red flags. Avoid them because they will mess up, fuck up your life. And just like with your memories and all that, whatever you put in front of your eyes, whatever you put into your relationship, it's not just going to simply disappear and you'll forget about it. It's going to stay there. So, like, people have to be careful about this stuff. I just got done from the gym, and I was talking to one of the guys there. Give him a shout out, just an awesome guy. But yeah, I told him I do enjoy working with him and having him help me figure out what works best there for me with staying in shape, getting healthier, slimming down, that sort of thing. But going there to work out, part of me is afraid of just failing, like not pushing myself hard enough, working on myself mentally, not just simply physically. And a lot of people don't, I didn't realize this is going past 10 minutes here. A lot of people don't realize that when they look at me, they're like, yeah, they see something, but the more I talk, the more they're like, you get the picture that describes the whole, like, there's this picture from Zootopia. You get the fox smiling, and you have the rabbit horrified. So people will hear me, they'll smile, and they'll be like, wow, that's cool. Did not know that. Then you've got the people horrified. They're like, yeah, I open my mouth, and people either get offended or they get interested, even excited. I've talked to some who are gay and bi and anything in between, and God knows there are ways to talk to other people. It turns out, usually, though, they're not looking for friends, they're not looking for a discussion. The people who are outside of, you know what, I won't even go there. I'll just say that there's a large percent of people who are not looking for conversation, they're looking for sex. Yeah. I have a lot to say about sex. I may have to actually do a personal video on that sometime. My thoughts on sex. Boom! God knows it's going to be not monetized, and it's going to be R-rated. X-rated. X-rated with lots of sounds. Not coming from me. Probably from a couple of porn videos. But speaking of which, here's a side thought. I read, and this is interesting, this guy is like a millionaire because he puts up educational videos on Pornhub. Gets a lot of views. Not bad, huh? Anyway, may go down that route. Christian shit. Boom! Pornhub. I'll look into that. There's some good investment there. Christian BDSM. Boom. Anyway, to wrap this all up here. Relationships can fail if there's a couple of things that are not met. Lack of communication. A lack of glue, bonding of some kind. Because as I was telling the gym trainer, like, Christians go about the relationship part, and I mentioned this in the beginning, they go about the relationship part through scripture, through words, through, protect what we care about. We want a family. We want to have kids. Let's protect that. This is less about feelings and less about you're hot, let's bang. We want a family. We want a legacy. We want to have kids. Then you've got other people who are just like the BDSM side. We're soulmates, something along the lines of that. We're connected, we're deep. I know you inside and out. The whole boom, the whole open, This is like, they open themselves very differently. And it's almost crazy because the way they go about gluing themselves and the whole cementing of the relationship is largely through physical actions, and I can only speak for what I've seen. And there's other people's stories who collaborate where there's a lot of sex. So their glue, their bonding is through sex. And there's some truth to that. Because sex is like glue. You just don't want to glue yourself to someone who's going to hurt you. You know, it's like gluing yourself to a cactus, to a life support that is sucking your financial blood out. You're just getting weaker. You don't want to do that. I mean, even just for fun, that could end up getting you in a world of trouble. False allegations ended a career of mine. It could end a career of yours. I say career because it's more like it ended a job of mine, not a career. But yeah, I don't want it to end my career. Being professional allows me a little bit of leverage, leeway to talk about something straightforward with a certain amount of freedom. I'm just being a little bit of open here about this relationship, and I'm just like, sorry, this conversation with this woman, it just dropped off. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I've been trying hard to not think about this because those images were very intoxicating. You send beautiful pictures. Sorry, you send pictures of a beautiful woman who's just naked. She, like, the rack and all of that. There's nothing wrong. She could be an 8, a 9, or a 10 out of 10. And yes, I've been trying to distract myself, trying to figure out some things because, like, I want a family. I've always wanted a family for the past, I don't know, decade. And I've got nothing to lose by saying, hey, let's talk. I'm just frustrated. I wish I could say more, but you know what? The lack of experience is crippling me in this area with women. Right, wrong, stepping on eggshells, offending others, being transparent, whatever you want to call it. There's nothing there, and I've gone as far as I can with this particular conversation. I just got to figure out what to call it, and then just upload it. Until next time.